I think I'm doing a little bit better than I was before. I think right now I'm just trying to swim with the flow of life, if that makes sense, and not resist it. And this is partly just because I feel like I have a lot of ambition just in general. I have this burning fire inside of me to accomplish things and do cool things and live an exciting life. But I feel like that flame can be so all-consuming that it burns everything in its way. And I just feel like it's a war at all times. Like, I'm fighting against my current reality. And that's not to say that dreaming of a better future is a bad thing. No, I think our ability to imagine a better future, better possibilities is one of the coolest things that humans can do. But also, when you want these things so badly, it's like you're suffocating it. The more you try to be certain about something, the more uncertain it feels. It's like you're overcompensating for something. And I think once you kind of let go to a certain extent, it becomes a little bit easier. And that burning, all-consuming flame becomes something more gentle. It becomes this flame of curiosity and not something that's so destructive. You know, your life doesn't depend on this thing. You know, like, things are fine right now. Like, I'm breathing, I'm here. It's a beautiful day outside. The sun is still out. The birds are chirping. Things are good right now. And I'm not even trying to sound like mystical when I say this, but life really does have a certain flow to it. I really wanted to stay in Austin. I really love this city so much. I've grown such an attachment towards this city. And I was gonna find a place here and stay here once the lease ends. But I think life is just, it's possible. I could definitely do it. I could definitely pull it off. But it would cost a lot. Not just like financially, but just energy-wise. It is just not the right time. And the more I think about it, the more I question like why I even want to stay here. Just because I love this city doesn't mean it's where I need to be right now. Just even practically like where I am in my life. Like, I just got broken up with. I'm not really in a phase in my life where I want to be super social. I don't want to party. I don't want to meet new people. I'm not really trying to make new friends right now. That's just not where my energy is currently. I would rather just stay in touch with my current friends and strengthen those relationships. I think right now this next chapter is about going inward in a way that I haven't done to this extent before. And I think staying here wouldn't really aid to that as much as it would if I just went back home and stayed with my family and regrounded myself and started fundamentally working on these areas of my life that I've lacked or struggled in. Life is throwing all of these new things at me. I feel like life is just shaking me by the shoulders and telling me, yo, you gotta pivot, man. You gotta change directions. Like this whole chapter, the last 10 months, it's been amazing. I got to experience basically college. I got a free college experience here. which is crazy. And I know the other side. I know what living on my own is like now. I know what living in a big city is like now. I know the realities of paying for things, buying groceries, surviving, being an adult. You know, I have those experiences now to reflect on. And so now I don't feel like I'm missing out on much. Now that I've gotten to experience the other side, you know, the things that I've desperately wanted for so long, I now have lived that. And so now going back home, it's not like I'm losing anything. It's in fact, everything is to be gained from all of this. It's not really a setback. You know, I think old me would have viewed this as a failure, as a setback. But I don't think that's the case. If these things that are happening to me right now, that are hard to deal with, if they didn't happen, I would have never had the opportunity to decide to change. I would have never had the opportunity to really, really reflect on that whole experience. It all means something a little bit differently than it would have meant if I was still in it. You know, not that I wouldn't have appreciated it being in it, but you appreciate it in a very different way, looking back. Once a door is closed, once a chapter in your life is closed, you kind of view it differently. You kind of understand it differently. This is about to be a very new phase, very different phase. And it's not going to be forever, but for a little while. I no longer want to be concerned with having a super vibrant social life, or rushing back into dating, or meeting people, or having crazy experiences, or going out, partying, drinking, none of that. This is more about inner healing. I think one thing I learned from my relationship I was just in is my capacity to love another human being. I feel like I poured so much into this person. I cared so much about this person, and that is proof in itself that love is real, and it is something that can be attained. Self-love can be attained. Even if that person didn't feel half of what I felt for them, it's still, I'm not going to let that turn my heart black, you know? I'm not going to let that ruin my view of what love is and what love could be. I think if anything, it just shows that I have a really big capacity to love. And I can pour that into other things in my life. I think I've always had such a broken and distorted view of myself. I've always felt like my only value as a human is based on my output, or what I'm creating, or how good what I'm creating is, or if I'm doing well, if I'm successful in an external sense, if I'm receiving praise from other people. And I'm really trying to internalize the fact that my self-worth is not based on any of those external things. And I am valuable. I'm very valuable as a human, inherently. No one else knows the whole story of Cameron Clayton but me. No one. Not even my closest friends, not my mom, not anyone in my life but me. I've always been there for myself. I've always had my own back. I've always picked myself up at my lowest. I've always I've always encouraged myself to keep going when it felt impossible to keep going. No one else did that but me. I have to give myself credit for that. I have to realize I am my biggest supporter. I am my truest supporter. No one has my best interest in their mind more than me. A couple years ago, my friend invited me to Denver, Colorado, and we rented this log cabin in the middle of the mountains, and we did shrooms. It was my first time ever having a psilocybin trip. And towards the end of the trip, I was having this moment with myself where I kind of ventured off and was having some alone time to just think. And I looked at myself in the mirror and this is the first time I've really saw myself and all that I've been through and realized that I've always been there for myself. I've always had my back. When no one else was there, I was there with myself. And I got through it. I don't think every single problem you should try to solve on your own. You can't do everything alone. And that's a whole separate topic. I think humans need connection and other people to survive. We can't survive alone. But with that being said, if you don't see your own potential, no one else will. The world won't see your own potential. No one will give you the credit that you really deserve other than yourself. Because no one else knows your whole life story. No one else knows all of the experiences that molded you into who you are today. No one has seen all of the struggles that you've gone through. But you know those things. I don't know. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that if you don't see your own value, if you don't see your own self-worth, then none of it matters. None of it matters. We're all just people. No one is fundamentally better than another person. No one was constructed to be more successful in the world. I guess no matter like where I am in the journey, I have to take a second to recognize that what I am doing is valuable. Who I am, just inherently, unconditionally, is valuable. Even if I'm not creating at the level that I wish I could be creating at, or achieving what I want to be achieving at the level that I want to be achieving it at, or performing as well as I possibly could be. That's a very perfectionist mindset. I think, I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm always trying. Maybe I'm trying too hard sometimes. Most of the time, I think, honestly. I think in a weird backwards way, the answer is actually trying less. Not being so concerned with the outcome of things or the end product, and more concerned about the actual process of doing whatever it is that you're doing in that moment. The process of just existing, just being a person. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for just being humans, going through the effort to clean ourselves and dress ourselves and exercise and fuel our body with food. Like, it's a lot of work to be a human, to like kind of exist. Just existing is like a lot of effort sometimes. And just like looking at that and just appreciating it, you know? this is not organized. This is just a stream of consciousness, what I'm thinking right now. I don't have a plan or direction for this. It feels right to talk sometimes. I don't know, when you're constantly just in your head, thoughts are just spiraling all over the place, and I feel like speaking it into words better cements a lot of ideas, and they become less abstract and more understandable. So I think that's my goal with this, is just to better understand some of the things that I'm thinking about, and also just documenting the journey of whatever the hell I'm on right now. I feel a very major shift happening, an identity shift, a life shift, a very major one. It's a very defining point in my life. So it's exciting in many ways, but terrifying in other ways. Absolutely horrifying in other ways. That's the beauty of it, though. That's the beauty of it. Okay, I'm gonna just fucking